Welcome back to Series 6 by fourthlocation.com. I'm LaurenWhatevs, here with Scott and our guest this week, KMBest, Marvel Snap phenom, YouTuber, streamer, Golden Gauntlet caster. What else? Honestly, if you're watching this and you don't know him, I don't know. I don't know how that happened.
I feel like that's a pretty fair description of me, to be completely honest with you. I don't see my own audio coming through. Do you see
I hear
my
you
audio?
fine, so it's probably fine.
I see some lines for you, but they're quite small.
I see absolutely no lines on my wavelength tracker. So there's a decent chance you're never hearing this conversation. You being the audience in this case.
Worst case scenario, Zencastr lets me download the internet quality version. But honestly, Zencastr's just goofy sometimes. I'm going to let the dog in, and Scott's going to introduce the topic this week.
Oh, we'll edit around this or whatever? Yeah, so this week we wanted to talk to KM about card design, specifically the idea of what makes a good design, what makes an elegant design, what makes a clumsy design, what makes an overwrought design. As it pertains to Marvel Snap, but maybe we'll venture out into some other card games. KM, what are your just general thoughts about elegant design in Marvel Snap?
I think it's a lot like decks, where people who aren't really qualified to talk about it, and I would include myself in this. I think I'm like the bare minimum, slightly above that level, but like this is not my job, and I am still very much like a autodidact in this area, and I think even using a word that big is overly complimentary to what I am. I think that people look at design in ways that are even worse than the ways people look at decks. Because when people look at decks, they're like, this deck is strong, but they're not good enough to know why it's strong or like what the context of it is that makes it strong or not, right? And eventually you can get people to the level where they understand whys of why this deck is strong. Like, why is this deck good? Why was it so good that V-Hand got cheap tech cards? And why was V-Hand so bad when the best tech cards cost 4 and 5? Like, just sort of things like that are pretty hard for people to grasp. Design is like that, except basically nobody has the skill set to make you good at it except the people who are getting paid to do it. And I think that when you talk about like good design and bad design, largely in a game like Marvel Snap, I think a good design is something that is evocative and interesting, but most importantly, fixable. It doesn't have to be the greatest card ever. Like, I think a lot of people look at a card that they like a lot, and because they like it a lot, they're like, oh, that's good design. That's really kind of the level people operate on, and I don't think that's a level you can actually operate on. So Snap is a game that is extremely able to change cards. So for Snap, I think the thing that makes a card good design is that there's enough things in it that you can change if something goes wrong, and then outside of that it is evocative and interesting enough as a game piece to do what it is. Similarly, Snap it's asking a lot of its cards because its cards release into Series 5. They're like the new content for the game. If you don't make a card that is good, is that bad design? Like, that's an actual question you have to ask. If your cards come out and they are bad, is that a design failure or is it a development failure? Largely, the answer is probably development, but sometimes you make a card that is very difficult to make good. An example would be like Zombie Galacti. Do you want to make that card good? Do you want that to be a thing that you see a lot of? Is that fun? Is that evocative? I think people look at a card like Show Lao, and they're like, that's bad design because the numbers are wrong. But that's not what design is. That's development. I think Show Lao is amazing design. That card is so sick. It's just got too many numbers on it, and maybe it shouldn't work with Merlin and Deafening Chord. But that's not a design failure. That's just the numbers on the card are wrong.
I think I agree with basically everything you said there. The basic premise, correct me if I'm wrong, is probably a lot of people in Marvel Snap If they see a deck and they say, I think this deck or these cards have bad design, that's just something they're losing to and they don't like playing against.
Right.
Or they don't like playing with. And people say, oh, this card's really well designed. It means they're winning with it and they like playing with it.
Or they're winning against it.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. I've heard people say that, like, oh, they really threaded the needle on that design because it's just a like a card with a 48%
win rate. Yeah. They did great on that. I don't have to buy it and I get to beat it. A+ design.
But I do think you're selling yourself a little short as a card design enthusiast. We're all amateurs here, but I think we can all describe ourselves as people who care about the design of the card game and the mechanics of a card game, not just winning and losing, though we might care to various degrees about winning or losing. So Glenn and the team have talked a ton about balance knobs. That was part of what you were getting at there.
Mm-hmm.
And Marvel Snap needs balance knobs even more because one card a week, stuff like that. Do you think they do a good job with balance knobs and making them available?
I think it's on the whole, they have gotten better because the more complex cards you can make, the more knobs you can insert on those cards. Like, it's not that they've explicitly gotten better about it, but an example that I would point to is like, you remember Old Lady Deathstrike? That card had no knobs. You couldn't do anything about that card. Yeah. You could either make it dramatically worse or dramatically better. That's what you could do with that card. You couldn't do anything granular on it. And now that they've decoupled how Lady Deathstrike works from decoupling her effect from her power, there are multiple things you can do on that card that are much more granular, right? An example of them not learning this lesson, I think, is Captain Carter, where it's like every number on that card is actually 4 times the number on that card. Like that's actually like a really hard card to change. And I think they just kind of skated on it, where like that to me strikes me as a card that probably shouldn't have been a season pass card, especially because those have to carry even more weight. But I think largely what I'm getting at is the ability to change a card is specifically important to Marvel Snap. What makes a card a good design, though, is almost entirely contextual. And that's sort of the problem, because they're designing these cards 6 months, presumably, before they actually release. As much as we'd like to believe that it's entirely possible for them to predict the future in that way, I don't think it's reasonable to think anyone should be good enough at their job that they should know everything. And one thing getting wrong very often snowballs into multiple things being wrong. Because once you assume one wrong thing about, let's say, the meta a month away from when you designed the cards, well, that wrong assumption snowballs into 2 months away, which snowballs into wrong assumptions 3 months away. I think largely, not that it's an impossible task, but that it's a thankless one. Because people will only remember the misses. Nobody's going to be talking about all the times you nailed it. No one's going to talk about those. It's only going to be, like, just by the nature of what it is, it's only going to be the times you meaningfully disrupt things.
Right, or even the good changes, they might get talked about for a week, but not for months from now, right? We're not like, not the same way that we're like, hey, remember the huge miss that was OG Loki? What were they thinking? Actually, that's not a good example, because even the players most players didn't expect OG Loki to be a good card, but that doesn't matter. That's sort of the point. Even if everyone was wrong, you still bear the responsibility as the designer, right? Even if everyone was wrong, even if it was right to have been wrong,
it still holds you responsible for the meta. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you're definitely right about the meta thing. It's that defines what a card's strength or weakness is. It's everything around it, right? If you take the best 50 cards in the game and make them the only cards in the game, some of them are suddenly the worst cards in the game. Maybe a tough sentence to follow, but I've seen people be critical of, like, why would you even design bad cards in the first place? And there are a bunch of reasons to do that.
I think Marvel Snap has less reasons to do that. Like, to the point that I think they should probably actually be commended on the amount of bad cards they release, because to me it seems pretty clear that their release cadence and the way their economy works would pretty drastically incentivize them to power creep.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have not meaningfully done that, and like, yeah, the game is stronger than it used to be. No arguments here. But they've also been making cards that are previously owned strong. And they have been releasing cards that are objectively super mid. And I'm not saying they've done an amazing job about power creep, but when you consider their incentives, I feel like it's fairly well stewarded, is how I would phrase it.
I agree with that. The guy that works at my local comic book store definitely disagrees. He feels like it's all power creep. Why would I buy a new card? They're just going to make another new card that's better than that card. And he complains to me about Marvel Snap every time. I was trying to tell him today when I stopped in that the game is worse when they release bad cards. That's more boring.
I think
feels like it all coalesces around whatever powerful new card there is. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
Well, it certainly does sometimes. It's certainly doing that with Show Lao, right? Yeah. Like, we're coalescing around Show Lao right now. But I think people, again, it's one of those things where people notice when it happens and they don't notice when it doesn't. They'll just complain about a different thing, right? When you think about Show Lao and you think about the previous metagame, right? What was everyone complaining about? None of these cards are doing anything, and it's just V-hand constantly. It's always V-hand. But instead of saying, like, oh, that's indicative of them not power creeping, they say, that's because they don't understand how to balance V-hand and the metagame is stale, right? Yeah. It's either stale or they're power creeping. And there's no acknowledgement that these are, like, very literally two sides of the same coin. Is Show Lao too strong? I mean, I don't really think that's what the podcast is about, but, like, yeah. So, but still, like, imagine a world where we could play Phantom X, you know? Imagine a world where, like, Phantom X, I think, is a great example of, like, a type of card that is not a design problem, but is a development problem, where I think they just put the wrong numbers on all the activate cards that need additional help, and especially for cost activates. They're just like, these are really hard cards to play. So Phantom X not only being a 4-cost activate, but also having the Warlock effect, coming out at 4/6, it's like, I defy you to look at Misery and then look at Phantom X and tell me that Misery should be the 4/8 of those two cards. I just don't think you can do it.
Well, it's complicated because sometimes I do believe that they're better than us at making cards. I'm not one of the people that thinks Second Dinner's clueless. I think that they're experts. I think they're really good at it. But there is occasionally like a card that'll come out. We'll see it in the data mines, and everyone will be like, "That looks too strong," almost universally, or "That looks too weak," almost universally. How does something like that happen? Is it intentional? Is it that we're too confident in our opinions? We're not noticing when we're wrong about it. But like Dragon of the Moon, everybody thought it was going to be terrible. Show Lao, everybody thought it was going to be great. How does that happen?
Yeah. Well,
is it intentional?
There's more of us than there are of them. But also, I do think to a degree that's intentional, right? If you show me Dragon of the Moon and Show Lao, and you tell me we want one of these cards to be good and one of these cards to be bad, which one would you choose?
Yeah, obviously not the one that involves Master Mold in its play pattern.
Right. Like I do think there is some intentionality with that. Like where it's like maybe their specific calibrations are off, but directionally, you show me those two cards, you tell me we want one of these to be we want to make sure one of these cards is a beast. And that card's going to be the season pass. I'm going to choose the one that's additive and not subtractive 10 out of 10 times.
Okay, we've been talking a lot about how balance interacts with design and like cards being too strong, cards being too weak. I don't think Show Lao being too strong has anything to say about its design, really. You can tweak numbers. So I want to try and decouple those ideas for a little bit and talk about just game mechanics. You talked about something that's evocative is one metric for what's a good design. There's different ways. It could be top-down design. Is it telling a story? Is it fun to play with? Is it unique and novel design? Like, what makes a card an interesting design? And I want Lauren to weigh in on that, too, and we can compare our opinions on that.
You want me first?
Sure.
I think
one of the ways you introduced this topic was elegance of design, and I think elegance is actually super important. Snap itself is a very elegant design. When we talk about elegant game design, we're talking about simple pieces and the emergence of complexity with the way that the simple pieces interact with each other, and that's just something that Snap does extremely well. Snap doesn't. A lot of elegant game design uses the same parts to do multiple jobs. Snap doesn't do a lot of that. There's some of it, right? Like there's high Evo decks where they're using energy in two different ways, or the discard deck that's using cards as a resource in two different ways. But mostly what Snap's done is they've managed to make this tight little game. You only have 12 card decks. You only have 12 spots on the board. You only have 6 turns. But there is complexity that emerges from the way that everything interacts with each other. Never mind things like the snap and retreat mechanic. So, of course, as the game is aging, we're seeing increasingly complex designs, which inherently lower the elegance of the game.
So for you, more elegant design means less complex design.
That's like I don't think that's quality. A fair characterization of what she's saying. I think it's a marker of it, but it's not what it means.
Yeah, and like high complexity is okay, especially for dedicated players who've been in the game the whole time, if it also comes with high depth, right? And it's actually, before getting into this, I was trying to think of like the quadrant of cards, like high complexity, high depth, high complexity, low depth, and then the opposite for low complexity. It's like, it's actually kind of hard to find cards that are high complexity and low depth. They exist. Like I think, Strong Guy is sort of one of those where it's like it's kind of a complicated card to figure out what to do, but like once you do it, he's just dumb numbers you put on the board. Like he doesn't actually open up a lot of decisions for you.
I would propose Victoria Hand.
Yeah, just make some cards.
Yes, copy me. The game plan is so straightforward. Yeah, right. Whereas if you have like high complexity, high depth cards, I'm thinking of like Galactus, Thanos, Nigo Minoru, and these are cards where like there is a lot of complexity, a lot of text, but they also come with a lot of decisions. And that's fine. And so what I want from my low complexity cards is I want them to have ways where they're interacting with each other and other elements of the game to increase complexity that way. And that's what I think makes like a stellar design. It's okay to have a mix of cards like this, but like the best cards are the low complexity, high depth.
I want to jump off something you said, which was, I think that when people talk about power creep in Snap, a lot of it's not actually power creep so much as it's synergy creep. Like if you want to point at where the power is in Snap, it is overwhelmingly, since the Techpocalypse, synergies. And before then it was like that too, but it is much more like that about this time. It is no longer a game where you play, 1, 2, 3, 4 Wiccan decks. You aren't just playing, here's my pile of good cards, because you just don't have enough stats in here's my pile of good cards. You are playing a synergy-based deck. When you look at a Show Loud deck, that's the most synergy deck of all time. There is nothing that isn't a synergy deck about that. You have your cards that double your big payoff. You have enablers for your big payoff. You have Merlin, maybe a werewolf. Or you're playing a Batroc deck with Sam Wilson and Craven and Hydra Stomper. You're stacking synergies. Or you're playing a V-Hand deck where you're copying Victoria Hand and making a bunch of cards that are synergistic with Victoria Hand. None of these things are power creep in the sense of they're just making a card that has bigger numbers than everything else. Except Show Lao, he definitely is that. But even Show Lao is a synergy card. Even Show Lao, who definitely is like, yeah, these numbers are bad. Like, for sure. This is still a card that is about synergy. And you talk about the way Marvel Snap combines game pieces. When you talk about that in the context of the Techpocalypse, it makes a lot of sense why they would want the game to be like that. That is objectively a thing that they would want. And if that's what you think the core appeal of your game is, a lot of those decisions make a lot more sense.
Yeah, synergy creep is something Lauren and I talk about a lot. Where I want less combo-y decks. I want more, you play one card, another card, another card. But there's an inevitability.
Right now.
But it's the play pattern of Sholau is actually what appeals to me, though, and not because I'm winning necessarily.
You want to play kitty fried tech
different
cards.
Things. Exactly.
I get you.
Exactly. 100%. Lauren, sorry, what were you?
Well, I was talking about depth, right? Which is like really in the simplest form, depth is like how many viable options it gives to a player, right? Like there might be cards that give you tons of options, but if 7 of them are obviously the wrong option, that's not actual depth. And so the way we're talking about synergy creep.
It's so cool. So cool that our
synergy creep. Sorry. Let it rip.
It's so cool. It's so cool how much Victoria Hand just ruins created cards. I hate her for this. Like, what is the one thing you can do with Victoria Hand? You make a bunch of small cards that she then buffs. Okay. So when am I going to play Nick Fury or Agent Coulson? Oh, never? Because they don't make small cards?
They're not good enough.
Oh, the only thing I can do with this card is the stuff that makes small cards? Oh, these are obviously, like, it's a great example of that obviously the wrong option kind of thing.
Yeah. It's like fake depth. Like your mind, like, real, like, oh, look at all these fun things I can do with Victoria Hand. But it's like, really practically, if you want to be winning the game, you have to be, like, it's obvious what to do. And so that's where I'm wondering if, like, high depth, as soon as you start adding too many synergies, it, like, loops back around to low depth, because then it's just like, well, we're at the point where we can maximize synergy so much that all the other decisions that are technically possible are no longer viable.
I'm going to tell you a card I think is genius game design on literally every level. And you guys are going to hate me and I'm going to get killed in the comments. Gambit.
Okay.
No, I love Gambit. I know Lauren hates the randomness of him. I like when a card matches its lore or tells a story or something, and I think it's perfect.
The top-down design came up.
The top-down is so good. The top-down is unbelievable, but I would argue if you take the top-down out, that card is probably more responsible for, like, clippable moments than any other non-Galactus card in the entirety of the game. And as much as it sucks, and believe me, it does, objectively, that has to be a good thing for the game. I realize people are like, but I don't want to lose to RNG. Play chess.
Yeah.
Play chess. Go do that.
Actually, Snap reminds me a lot of Smash Brothers, where it's like there is this competitive scene that has arisen and has, like, tweaked the rules or whatever to make it like this is how we play competitively. But really, the designers have all these party elements in it that raise the chances for the worst player to win. And every game has a different range on what that balance between strategy and luck is. But Snap's pretty high on the luck side.
So yeah, when I was cute kitty. When I was a little kid, when I was like 6, 7, I played competitive chess.
When you were what?
I can't believe you just said that.
When you were what? You were what? How old were you?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I was a funny range of ages that were really those ages. When I was 6, and then the year before that, when I was 5, and then the year after those, when I was 7. That range of year.
You are so lucky. There's a cat in my hand, so I can't. I didn't
even realize it wasn't intentional. It was very obviously not intentional. Anyway, when I was around 6, and then the year after that, I played competitive chess, and it traumatized me because the better player basically just always wins, and then you wrap up your mental self-confidence and your, like, self-worth in winning or losing. So I didn't touch a chess piece for like 10 years because it just made me nauseous to even think about it. And so now I play games like Marvel Snap.
I'm not sure what the lesson I'm supposed to take away from that is, other than, if I put a knight in front of you, you'll vomit.
Well, no, I mean, it's just about how a game with more variance is more fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think that. Sorry, I just realized that, like, a month from now, I'm gonna, like, DM you a picture of a chess piece and caption it. Boom.
I've since gotten over it. I've been playing chess with my son, who is now 6.
And you're fine because you're better than him.
I'm teaching
sorry,
him healthier ways to engage with the game.
Like,
he's 6, he's almost 7.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that I agree that the beauty of these kind of card games is that the better player loses. Which, by the way, can I tangent on this for a second? Because I don't know if y'all are familiar with this, but the current rank 1 player, Iris, has been constantly getting posted on Reddit.
I've seen that.
And people are like, I beat the rank 1 player. And it's like, dude, she's going to lose 40% of her games. Like, that's what the card game is. Like, congratulations on being one of the lucky 40%.
It's so meaningless.
Okay, dude.
Well, I don't think she plays a particularly small amount of games either. So the volume of games she's losing is high. She's going to lose more games this week than I'm going to lose in the season, probably.
Genuinely, yes. And it's just like I first of all, just like on a personal level, I love watching it happen to other people. Because that happened to me all the time. People used to @ me on Twitter because there would be people whose name was KMBest and that wasn't me. And it would be like, is this you? Screenshot of them beating the person.
It's never a screenshot of a loss.
Never. This would be constant during like the first year of Snap. I am so grateful. I am so grateful that it's happening to other people. One time, Derek lost like 3 8-cubers in a row, and all 3 people DM'd him GG afterwards. Like this, I love this happening to other people. But to be clear, it is very dumb. I just love that it's happening to people that aren't me. It's really all that's going on.
We're in a group chat with Safety Blade, and he shares that it happens to him all the time.
It drives me crazy that people, it's fine if it's like, hey, good game, like cool. People reach out to me about that sometimes too. Totally fine to do that, but then for it to be like on main, look at how much I kicked your ass. Like, really, there was a better way to do this. There's even the result screen that doesn't show the board. Like,
I love it so much. I am just the biggest fan of like watching it happen to anyone but me, just because like I felt like I was insane for thinking that this was like a thing that was really annoying, and now watching it happen to other people and they're like, oh my god, this sucks so bad. Like it feels validating to the person that I was previously.
Is it more tilting if it happens with a gambit?
I think that any self-respecting gambit player, which mild oxymoron, would not do that on a screenshot. You know what I mean? But like, it is actually kind of shocking how many of them are like, someone won a 50-50.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, we both knew what that was. Like, I know. I had someone, they were playing Zombie Galacti, and I had a Legion in hand, and they had a Limbo on the board. So obviously I had Legion the Limbo on 6. And they were emoting snap at me. Like, why didn't you snap? And it's like, what? Like, you were going to stay if I did? What are you talking about? You were going to stay against the Legion deck? You're going to stay against the Legion deck when you had a Limbo and he snapped on 6? That's what you were going to do? Okay,
there's so much emoting that's just telling on yourself as a bad player.
There's a lot of it, yes.
Yeah, like, snap question mark is the one emote I try to use. It's the only one I try to use like in a positive and healthy way. I try to tell the person, hey, you should have snapped, or hey, that was a bad snap. But I know they're never. I wonder
how many of them are reading it that way.
They're never taking it that
way. Dude, that's like saying, like, hey man, sorry if this gets a little too blue for this podcast. It's like, hey dude, look, color. this white hood that I'm wearing, it's not racist. I just like it, okay?
Perfect metaphor, yeah.
I just think it looks hard. All right? The pointy white hood that I am wearing has no connotations whatsoever.
Now, I think 1 in 10 of those people thinks, maybe I shouldn't have snapped that.
I hope you're right. I admit I have also I've used snap question mark educationally. I try not to be a dick about it.
Educationally in quotes, I think is probably the right way to put it.
It's my intention, but I never know if it's taken that way.
Well, we're also playing in a different play bracket than you are. There's no one that you're playing against, KM, that doesn't know when they're supposed to snap or not snap.
That's not true. I actually am pretty ass at snapping.
I was going to disagree with that. I think that's a complicated.
Pretty terrible at it, dog.
I'm more likely to do it against somebody with a very low CL. So
yeah, me too.
That's my intention anyway.
Me too.
It's a little unethical, I feel like. I'm more likely to bully this kid that can't walk.
We're trying to be helpful.
Isn't that worse?
No, it's when they. I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Not everybody takes things the same way.
You should have snapped.
No, sure, absolutely.
I've seen people, particularly in like foreign language like forums, posting about how they genuinely thought the Miss Marvel was an appreciative.
Oh yeah, good faith game. Miss Marvel.
There literally are people that do that. You'll never know the difference. But of course, there's some people
I do
that
admit
know.
a lot of this is me. I see someone emoting me, and I'm like, I know how you mean that. I don't know how they mean that. I don't know that.
We were nominally talking about, or even before we were actually talking about card design, but like if we want to talk about emote design, like that Miss Marvel is so good as how ambiguous it is. Right? How many different uses you can get out of that?
That's actually a good question. KM, do you think that the Miss Marvel emote is inherently like shitty or sassy? It's just
I have a take on the Miss Marvel emote that I don't know if I actually believe this. I just want to sort of air the take. Mm-hmm. If it were a different character in that pose that was not a teenage girl, I don't think it would carry the connotations that it does.
Oh, what if it was a white teenage girl?
I think it probably still would. I think there's like an inherent element of like implied brattiness to it that gives it a connotation.
Yeah. It's like that's why people like the Deadpool oopsie for similar use.
The Deadpool, I have never seen anyone use that when they oops. It is always like, I beat you. That's the connotation, right? Oops. Like it's the implied brattiness of it being a teenage girl that I think is what brought it to that spot.
I think that's definitely true.
That is my take.
So does the Dazzler? So the Dazzler could be used in a similar way then.
Oh, I think Dazzler is an adult woman, and it comes off differently. I'm serious.
Okay.
Like I genuinely believe that. I also think less people own it.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
But everyone's got the Deadpool and everyone's got the Miss Marvel, and they are the two like most like bratty possible emotes available, and so those are the ones people use.
Yeah, how lucky for us that leagues needed compensation, and so everybody got that.
It had to be that one, yeah. It couldn't just be like an ambiguous sweaty Namor or whatever. That means nothing. It had to be.
I like ambiguous Deadpool. Sweaty Namor, where he's just like, oh.
Or is he just underwater?
You can't see the droplets when you're underwater. Come on. Yeah.
Well, so to get back to design a little bit, I want to bring up some specific cards and see what you guys do. So one of our friends, Benjamin Roller, recently has ranted about the terrible design. He hates the design of Zombie Mr. Fantastic. And the reason is it's just a bunch of stupid card game terms. It's just all these things slapped onto one card. I pushed back and said, like, he's a literal zombie jumbled mass being pulled in different directions. So it's perfect top-down design. But I was being mostly facetious with that. But, like, so his philosophy on card design and what makes good and elegant card design is that the, like, facade of the game is not shining through. That it's, like,
that's so real.
Story.
That's so real. That's absolutely a real thing. I think where he's off about on Zombie Mr. Fantastic is the context, though, right? The zombie season was a season where they were doing an archetype that had exactly one hook, right? Zombie Scarlet Witch hooks into Kitty Pryde Merlin. Mm-hmm. That's it. So when you have one other card that is a Series 5 card, because Zombie Sentry, that's in the game mode. The Hunger, that's in a game mode. Zombie Giant Man, that's Series 4. You have one other card in that archetype. You have to make it hook into something else. Mm-hmm. You can't not do that. Was Zombie Mr. Fantastic a great design from a top-down Mr. Fantastic perspective? No. Like, I guess you could argue that he's stretching and helping the people or something like that. Or there's like, oh, it's 4 things and it's the Fantastic Four. Those are a stretch, no pun intended. But they did need a card that was a zombie that hooked into something else in a different space. And so what Zombie Mr. Fantastic has done is allow, like, when you see Zombie Mr. Fantastic, it's actually mostly decoupled from the zombie package. Like someone would be playing it in Aurora Thanos or whatever, right? They're not playing the other zombie cards in there. That's what that card has to do. It's probably bad top down, but when you think about what the card needed to be, I think it is a better design than he is giving it credit for.
Well, yeah, I think having a card that...
I really like how you're bringing in the economy too, and that is like a very real part of how card design works in this game. Even though I don't know how much that's like that. I think that's 2 different teams.
Think about it. It's definitely 2 different teams, but I would imagine that like you have that season seems pretty clearly designed to have the support cards be given to you for less than the core cards, right? It was like. Yeah. It was Zombie Giant Man Series 4, Hunger and Zombie Century in the game modes. These are the peripheral cards that allow the deck to function, and then Zombie Scarlet Witch is like the thing, right? That's the thing the deck is.
Yeah.
And I think that in the context of that, they basically had 1 slot to do anything other than another card that you can only play in the deck that this other stuff goes in. Mm-hmm. They wanted to make a card.
What a bad experience if you get that card, but not Zombie Scarlet Witch. Or
yes, whatever. That is exactly the thing you want to avoid. So if the card is going to be in Series 5 and people are going to have to buy it as a standalone card, it's going to have to work as a standalone card, which is what Mr. Fantastic had to do. Because if you don't buy the season pass, you don't get the zombie deck. So you have to have a card that functions both in and out of the zombie deck. And in that context, I would call Mr. Fantastic an unmitigated success. Clumsy, sure, but he does what his job is.
Yeah, to actually be able to develop a card that hooks into the archetype but can exist outside of it is really tricky. That's like a difficult thing to achieve.
Yep, I think he's, again, this is sort of the ambiguity of what good design is. But I would view that as a pretty reasonable accomplishment. Even if it does come across like a bit of a hacked together kind of guy, I feel like it comes across that way because it is that way. Because it had to be that way.
Some cards have to be. Some cards, like, you can't have every card be full of flavor. You know, there are some jobs that you just need filled. You find the best card for that.
I think Snap actually does a really, really good job with flavor. I know other people disagree with me, but I also understand that not every single card, like, it's a card game first. I would hope that they would focus on the gameplay more than the lore. And I know there's people out there that wish it was just about the lore and they don't care about.
I definitely think gameplay's king, but also if they make Singularity and she's just some ability that is not related to her at all, I will be very sad.
What the hell is Maverick's lore?
Maverick?
Yeah. His lore is he was like a 90s design and he looks cool.
Oh, I can tell that part. Like that guy, yeah, I could tell he doesn't
he doesn't grant power to others as far as I know though.
Okay.
Like he doesn't pass on power. Like it would actually have been
definitely does do that for what it's worth.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes there's clearly a card where they just weren't thinking about the top down. They had a design. They liked the implementation they put it on. I think Maverick's probably like that. There's other things like that. I don't know. Can you guys think of other examples of that where it's not really connected to the character at all?
I think Phantom X could have been basically any character.
Yeah.
Like, anyone who's like M rated. If you told me Phantom X was Deadpool, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I know that there were some people disappointed with Phantom X because he's a favorite character of some people. They felt like he wasn't interesting enough. I think I have a personal theory that Spider-Man Noir is like a discarded Superior Spider-Man design because it's like 8. It was everything was like 8 before.
I have a theory of Spider-Man Noir where I think this is a Spider-Man Noir card, and I'll tell you why. Because detective flavor in this game is seeing the top card. It's Howard the Duck, right?
For Howard the Duck.
Yes, like that's actually
Jones.
what detective.
So let's redesign Jessica
is.
Jones. So Jessica Jones and Iron
Man.
Man.
Don't get me started. Jessica Jones, I actually think is great design. Jessica Jones is amazing. She pushes people away. She wants to be alone. That rocks. A plus.
She's
both JJ and Namor are baller designs. I think those are absolutely excellent at expressing what the cards are about.
Well, yeah, Ares is one of my favorite designs in the game. Not just like the very obvious level of he plays war, but he's also like an asshole that only cares about like the dick measuring contest in the comic books, and that's literally what he does. I like some that I love like that.
I like the war. I like the war contest. Joke. The war joke is so good.
Yeah,
like the war joke justifies the entire card to me.
Yeah, for sure. What are some other cards that you guys like the top-down design? Or dislike? Echo, I think, is kind of a miss. Dormammu.
I love Apocalypse.
Oh, yeah. Apocalypse is good.
I really love
Apocalypse. Coming back stronger.
I think Rogue and Gambit being so good is a plus for the game. They clearly thought of those early on with the characters. Rogue? You don't think Rogue so much?
I think Rogue should steal any ability.
Mm-hmm. I think it was probably too much at that time.
It's also really like the reason she wouldn't do that is because having it work with on reveals wouldn't retroactively get rid of whatever the on reveal already did, and also I'm not entirely positive it would even trigger the on reveal of the card that she copies. Yeah.
Well, yeah, occasionally top-down design does run into technical constraints.
Yeah.
Original Kitty design was a much better design top-down for Kitty than the Kitty we have now.
You think so? I think they're about equal.
She phases in and out. I think it's better than she just jumps back. It feels involuntary to me.
It's like the previous one was a 10 and this one's a 9. I feel like the difference isn't that heavy.
Well, she and Jeff should be swapped, first of all. Those two abilities should be just straight switched. Kitty should be the one that moves between wherever you want and can enter any place. And Jeff jumps in the pool and scares everybody. It's like literally his thing in the comics.
Okay, I can see that.
I mean, a lot of people talk about Wong and Doctor Strange should be swapped.
Counterpoint, I can play Kitty.
Yeah, I want to be able to play Kitty, who is one of my favorite characters. That's true. That's true. What is this? Bendis?
I mean, I think an obvious great design would be Thanos. I think that's just like very obviously the best of the so-called big bad designs by a pretty wide margin. Here's a good example of a top-down that fails. I'll give you 2 examples of top-downs that fail, in my opinion. Magic and Kang. And the reason these are... Old Kang, I should say. The reason these fail is they are... Kang is the greatest time traveler digital game card you could possibly make. That's the coolest shit on Earth. The problem is that it sucks and it makes games take forever.
Yeah. Yep.
And that is like a line you basically can't cross. You can cross all sorts of like RNG based lines in card games. They're card games. Crossing the hard limit you set on your game, I think that's much worse. Even if those cards are absolute flavor wins. They're very
So you think Magic is bad because she crosses that threshold as well?
Yes, she's much more acceptable, but only because they had to change her.
No, Daredevil's great design.
He also extends the length of the game that's like supposed to be a short, quick game, right?
I think it's nice that Magic exists as she is right now.
Where she's unplayable because we have Merlin?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cool thing.
You mean that you can't play her on 6, right?
Yes, I mean that you can't play her on 6. I do mean that, yes. She used to just be like, you wouldn't know whether the game was extending a turn.
That is horrendous.
Yeah.
That is horrendous.
It was horrendous, yeah. And
I agree. And I hated Kang for his animation as well. Like, I don't necessarily hate a card like Show Loud for being too strong or Mr. Fantastic for being too fiddly. But I hate Bullseye because it's just an annoying long animation.
long.
I kind of hate Thanos just because I have to watch every stone animation. It's just tedious.
Interesting. Do you feel the same way about Sam Wilson and his like dumbass shield whizzing everywhere?
It seems kind of fast in between turns. I haven't seen his new one as much.
Okay. Because I like Sam Wilson. Like I love feeling like I'm doing something, but not actually doing it. Like I love twiddling my thumbs. It's awesome. I'm fidgeting with like this little toy right now. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah,
right?
Scratch pad.
I love Sam Wilson. Love it. Like I love being like whoop, 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 whoop. That's my guy. I'm a big fan of that. But someone who I really respect was like, I really hate that card for doing that thing. It's just so much nothing happening on the board. It's just a bunch of nothing.
I hadn't thought about it. I can see that perspective. Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay. Well, I don't know how much deeper we want to get into this. I think, broadly speaking, locations are a very important part also of Snap's elegant design. I think they bring in a lot of the Gambit party random element. You know, when you lose to somebody who's super low CL, it could just be that they hit the nuts on their shuffle, but also it could be, you know, they I don't know, they're doing Odin shit on Kamartaj or something.
That was the classic hot location when back in the day they would do Kamartaj hot location like once a month. It's ridiculous.
Oh, really?
It happened a lot back in the beta. They were just like, well,
it's still gotta be one of the most common ones.
Kamartaj hot location is how I learned about Marvel Snap. I was just cruising Twitter one day and all the Pokemon TCG players were tweeting about Kamartaj hot location. I'm like, what is this game? And that's how I learned about Marvel Snap.
Okay. I assume I know your answer on this, but broadly speaking, locations are important to Marvel Snap, right? Like to your earlier argument that like just because we're game players, we're not game designers. I see a lot of people wishing for a mode that's like all ruins, and I'm just like, it would not be a fun game. It would.
I don't think
be boring so fast.
I don't think it would be as bad as you do. I think what Marvel Snap gets right is specifically 3 locations. Whether those locations
the number
effects, that's one thing. But like, I obviously like. It's hard to commend them too much for this because it's like, what were they going to do? Have 4 locations, 5 locations? Come on. It was always obviously 3. Yeah. Like, I don't think they probably don't have any demos of Marvel Snap with variable locations amounts. You know what I mean? Like this just doesn't like, when you look at the game, it's like, oh yeah, it's got to have 3. 3 is the right number. But, and I don't want to say like there's a subtle genius in it or anything. Cause this is not like subtle genius, but basically all it is like a deck with less power can beat a deck with more power. That is crucial. It is so important. And I think that's actually the biggest thing locations give to the game. It's not like they're random effects. That's nice. I think the random effects are cool. But mostly what they do is allow you to think strategically about your output and placement. And I think that is the biggest thing. So if you had a group of 4 of all ruins, I don't actually think it would be that bad because I think about 70% of what locations do is just beat locations. Like genuinely, most of what they give is just there are spaces. Like this is a location you can win, and there are 4 spaces on the board. Like
right. Most of them are low impact, which is good. Yeah,
and I think that while variance is obviously important and locations do it, I think you could argue there isn't enough location variance in the game. If you wanted to argue that, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Like they've made too many blah locations and there's not enough crazy stuff happening.
Well, yeah, I rarely feel like locations are affecting me a ton, except in like a hot location day or whatever.
Yep. But mostly it's just the fundamental game mechanics of Marvel Snap allow worse players with worse decks to beat better players with better decks, and that's awesome and that's good and that's a great thing to happen.
Well, yeah, I've heard people talk about Marvel Snap's all RNG, no skill, blah blah blah. I actually don't really think that that's true, and I think because they made singleton 12 card decks and you draw 9 of them, there's inherent lack of variance in your draw compared to another card game. So they needed to seed more variance in the game. They need more random effects on the cards. They need random locations. If it's just ruins and no snapping and there's no cards like Gambit or whatever, every deck would just be hyper consistent. I think people underestimate how consistent getting 9 of 12 cards is in a card game.
Yeah, they do. That's objectively correct, yes. I was being sarcastic. Like, there's no way that a card game doesn't involve an expression of skill, and the admixture of skill and luck is the core conceit of every card game. How could it not be? One thing I'll see every so often is like someone coping that like all it takes to be rank 1 is to play a lot or something.
Yeah, just grinding.
And it's like, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Browday.
Mm-hmm.
Browday is
I think everybody's familiar with Browday.
Browday is one of my favorite people in Marvel Snap. Maybe legitimately my favorite person in the entire scene. I have gotten more enjoyment out of my relationship with Browday than I have out of basically anyone else. And a lot of it is because he's the only person who tilts off more than I do. And so, like, here's a good example of a Browday post. He's like, fuck this game, I can't believe, and then he'll post like, you know, a screenshot of a deck, and the deck will be like 13-7 plus 7 cubes, and it'll be like, this lost 15 SP, right? And like, that's like, I've seen this guy, I've seen him crashing out, and again, this is the most relatable thing on earth because I'm the same way. He'll be crashing out. He'll be like, I hate this, I'm losing so many games. And I'll be like, Browday, are you currently ranked in the top 15 right now? He's like, yeah, man, I fell from 4 to 11. It's like, dude, like, what are we talking about? Like, it's one of those things where what I'm really trying to express here is the higher up you get on ladder, the better your win rate has to be, the better your cube rate has to be in order to stay there. You will not. If you are a 53% win rate gamer, you are never hitting rank 1 if you have a million games. It isn't happening because the higher up you get, the lower everyone else you play is relative to you. And the system takes that into account. And you'll get +2 cubes for winning a 1-cuber, and you'll lose 4 for losing a 1-cuber. Sorry, SP, not cubes. And it's like...
Yeah, I think where a lot of the misconception on that comes from is... I see that perception a lot, that all you need to do to be highly ranked is just play a ton. And I think that's true. To be a top 5,000 gamer, you can just play a ton. To be even a top 500 gamer, you can do it by 100%. Just playing a ton. But people who have never played at the higher levels don't know the difference between 500 and 30.
Correct. Yeah. And it is a difference of orders of magnitude.
Yeah.
Like, we are talking about very different things between 9,600 SP and 7,600 SP.
Yeah.
Those are extremely different things. Right now, I'm like top 100. For me, that's super washed, right? For a lot of people, they hear top 100 and that's impressive, right? This is like the lowest SP I've been at this time of the month in 3 years. Like, this is I am like 1,000 SP below a lot of the people I'm normally very close to, right? 1,000. That's a huge gap.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the way I discovered who you were was there was a Marvel Snap video where they introduced you as the top MMR player in the game. And I was like, I guess I'll click on this video.
That was true. At the time, that was in fact actually 100% true. Now, did I get there by being the best player in the game, or did I get there by farming bots? I don't know. Both, but definitely a lot of the second one.
Do you remember there was there were 2 streamers? I don't remember what country they were from that they were foreign, but they were 2 brothers.
Code Deco, man. I love those guys.
And they would just destroy bots and just get ridiculous high.
They would both play on the account. And at that point,
so they would have like
really
24-hour streams sometimes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea about this.
Those guys rocked. I thought they were cool as hell. I was so jealous, and then I was like, no, these guys are actually just cool.
Yeah, I don't even remember how the ranking system worked back then. It would just went up and up and up, or whatever.
It just went up and up and up and up. That was a time when you actually could. that was a time when you actually could just like it was
just grinding.
Yes, it was just playtime. Now, granted, like I do think I'm a pretty good player. You know, I've been good at other card games before. I'm pretty good at this card game now. When that isn't true, you know, I've been rank 1 in the real world too. But I mean, I was rank 1. What was it? A couple days into a season? Ain't that a little bit misleading? Isn't it?
It is misleading.
You know? Yes,
a little bit.
It totally is.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think my highest rank ever is something like 17 or 37 or whatever, and it's like, but I know that doesn't mean anything. I'm fully aware that means nothing.
I don't think it's like, like what is the meaningfulness of it to you is a very different thing, though.
Well, I personally don't derive any meaning or self-esteem or satisfaction from my rank. Luckily, I think I'm very lucky in that. I know a lot of people, it's very tied up in their self-esteem. I think I learned that lesson when I was
that'd be crazy.
6 or 7.
You were 6 or 7.
I might. I need to stop asking for unranked mode, because if they do give me an unranked mode, I might start taking ranked seriously.
I think if they give you an unranked mode, what'll happen is, like, I don't know. I do think Marvel Snap could use like a social environment. But from what I can tell, my best guess for if they give you guys an unranked mode is you guys will be like, oh, finally, it's time to play my sweet brews. And the other people playing in unranked mode will be people who aren't confident in piloting the meta deck, playing the meta deck. And you'll be like, what is even the point of unranked mode?
I think what'll happen is people will go in there with their combo decks. They don't have the exact cards they need in their opening hand, and they will just immediately retreat. And just half of your games will just be turn 1, 2, 3 retreats.
But that could already be happening in post-infinite ranked. I don't know.
I do think it's weird that post-infinite is either people who care deeply or people who get there to mess around.
Yep.
It feels like the second cohort are being very poorly served.
Yes.
Hey, everybody, you can read my article going up on snap.fan tomorrow morning entitled Get Rid of Infinite. Because we're just all wasting time till we get to the real game. Browdegg just wants to get to the real game. I just want to get to the real game. We both call that post-infinite ladder, even though we're interacting with it totally differently.
I got to tell you, here's another thing I think people just don't understand and they really need to understand, which is kind of what this podcast has become. You are still matched by MMR pre-infinite.
Yeah.
So when you look at someone who says, this deck is doing well for me in the 90s, and you're in the 90s, that's not the same thing.
Yeah.
You, in the 90s, might have a 6,000 SP MMR. Or we're going to use SP as an approximation for MMR here because it's close enough, right? If you hit infinite, you'd have 6,000. But if they hit infinite, they'd have 8,000. That's a different thing. You guys are never going to play each other. You are not the same. And this is exacerbated by like the way every data site parses it is by the 90s rank. And it's like that might be the worst data set in anything ever. Yep. Or at least the least possible to draw.
It is kind of bizarre that they even include that,
Because
the reason that Lauren wants to speedrun to infinite, the reason that Lauren wants to speedrun to infinite is not so she plays people with MMR. It's so that she doesn't have to see a number going down that she cares about. She doesn't have to put off the stress of getting the achievement, the badge of the card back.
It's totally because there's a rank floor. Yep.
It's the fact that two people, maybe that's good game design. That like two people with completely different goals have the same goal. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's indicative that the goals are oriented the wrong direction.
And I think it served Snap for a while. I think the Infinite Climb is past its time. It's time for it to go.
I gotta tell you, I hate it. Like
everybody hates it. That's what prompted me to write the article. Is that I found out I thought just mid-level people hated it.
No, I have to play the same damn people. When I'm climbing to infinite, it's all the same damn people I'm playing in top 100.
That sounds
It's all the same people. It sucks so bad. Yeah. It's like, play all the same people you'd play in top 100, but by the way, you're rank 83.
Yeah.
What? Don't put that number on me. If you're gonna make me do it, just let me start in infinite. If you're just gonna give me the infinite matchmaking the entire climb anyway. What happens is the entire 70s are bots, and then it's just the same people. And it's like, what is the point of making me do this?
Yeah.
What is the upside of this for you?
But I think it's important to know that nobody likes it. KM is one of the highest ranked players in the world. He's top 100, and he hates it. Everybody hates it, though.
Players 8500 SP, bro. This is
players who can't quite get there hate it. Players who take a week to get there hate it. Everybody hates it. I don't know anybody that likes it anymore. I used to like it. It used to be one of my favorite parts of the game back when it took me 20 days to do or whatever in the first 2 months of the game.
Yeah, but isn't that just indicative of you getting too good and now you feel like you're entitled to it? And it's like, why are you putting all this stress on me? I deserve this.
A little bit.
I feel like that's how I feel about it. It's what makes me feel not confident in airing my take. But I think what makes me feel confident in airing my take is like, wait, no, hold on. I do deserve this. I do actually deserve to not have to struggle to get to the rank I get to every month. You could just start me there. You could just not have me play bots, or have me at least have a new experience. But no, it's the same people. What's the point?
I mean, for me, my reason I hate pre-infinite play is I hate playing against bots. I hate playing against bots and winning. I hate playing against bots and losing. It's just not an interesting experience for me.
I like winning against bots because it means the pre-infinite thing is over sooner.
It's shorter, yeah.
Yep.
Well, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm happy when I get 8 from a bot because I know it's bringing the interminable suffering to a close.
Yes,
quicker. But that's the only reason I like it.
But yeah, like if you're gonna have MMR-based matchmaking, what's the point of ranks? If the whole game,
2 different modes.
Yeah, like if the whole game works off of this SP number. Yeah. Why are you pretending like my rank 93 is the same as someone else's rank 93? Like what's the upside there? And I assume there actually is probably like an upside, right? Like it drives me to play. That's probably actual upside for them, right? It's making me play. It's making you play. It's making you play. It's making
I do play a lot the first few days just to get it done.
And so like if you're them and you hear this conversation and you're like, well, you guys only play when we make you. We're going to keep making you. Like, I do think I do think there's something to that.
Yeah, for sure. They could start us at 93, though, maybe, huh?
All the way that the things that we say are different from the ways that we act.
God, we're really just, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that is the truest
thing on earth, dude. Like, oh my God. The way in which card gamers will ask for something they hate.
Yeah.
They'll be like, I want this so I don't have to play your game as much.
Yeah.
And the developer's just looking at them like, why would I do that? Like, what are you talking about?
They'll do that, which is crazy, but they'll do the opposite too, which is like, can I please just earn mystery border for playing more of this mode? It's like, you don't want that mystery border. You don't care about that. Why are you asking for that? Why do they ask for these little piddly rewards too?
There's people that want, you don't care about a mystery border.
Well, no, there's people that want to be able to grind more easily for piddly rewards in the limited time game modes. They don't actually want those rewards. They just
reason to grind.
They just don't want to press the play button and not feel like they're getting something material out of it.
Yeah. But that does sound to me like they want those rewards.
But they don't care what those rewards are. They just want something.
Yeah, but they still, they want something,
they're just
right? But like,
pets.
Yeah, but like, I don't really think that's like a bad ask, I think, give me some dopaminergic reactions is kind of all we're asking from a game in the first place.
What if every time you won a game post-infinite, you got a big Miss Marvel animation?
Well, I think that would just make the game take longer. So
the thumbs up?
I'd be against it.
Yeah, any animations I'm opposed to. I wish I could just turn off animations.
Gosh, I would kill for a speed mode. Okay, well, Cam, anything that you would be bummed if you, anything adjacent to design or whatever that you'd be bummed if you didn't get to say before we ended?
No, other than I think that largely, there is one last thing.
All right.
From what I know about the people who work in Marvel Snap Design, every single one of them is better at card games than you. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat this, dude. It is Michael Majors, who was a former Platinum Pro in Magic the Gathering. He is better at card games than you. He is better at card games than me. Glenn Jones, Pro Tour level player in Magic the Gathering. Fun fact about Glenn Jones, actually was the runner-up in the Yu Yu Hakusho Card Game World Championship. Glenn Jones is better at card games than you. The people who work at this are better at my job than I am. I cannot stress that enough. Like, when I talked to Jerry, I was like, who's this Michael Majors guy? Jerry was like, okay, imagine if I was better at everything. This is Jerry Thompson. One of the best Magic players to ever live. Like, these guys are not stupid. They could be wrong about something. They could misidentify something. But the way in which people treat them like they are actual idiots,
I see it a lot,
is just like, you genuinely need to know that that is not true. Like, these are people who would, in my opinion, very easily, were they to put basically any of the amount of work in, get to rank 1. Easily. I have absolutely no doubt that Michael Majors could do this. None whatsoever. Like, this, there are very few people who are better at card games than these people, let alone better at design. I don't think I'm either of those things. So please take everything I've said in this episode with a grain of salt. But genuinely, like, if you, I feel pretty lucky that we get the answers that we do in Team Answers, because like, these are genuine professionals.
I love
giving us a level of insight that, honest to God, we probably shouldn't get.
Yeah, I keep waiting for some corporate oversight to step in and say, "You guys have been doing what?"
Yeah, I don't know what question it was, but Glenn answered a question that was so honest that I was like, "This is like a brand risk." Like, yeah. I saw Glenn answer a question. I was like, "You are not supposed to say that." Like, what are you? That's crazy, dog.
It's like, genuinely such a treat.
It is. Glenn is a professor, not a professor. He's like a lecturer.
Adjunct or something, yeah.
Something along those lines, right? I called him a professor once, and he was like, don't call me that. I forget what podcast I was on or what context I said it in, but somehow he saw it, and he was like, I'm not this. Don't do that. And he is someone who literally teaches a class on this, is what I'm trying to get across here. Again, does that make him infallible? No. You know, it doesn't make him.
Have you played his little word game?
I have. I have played it. I am
elegant design.
I'm bad at the metagame of it. Like when to use rerolls and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Dude, Glenn Jones is actually a psycho, by the way. Like, I forget what this is when I had him on, I think the snapshot back in the day. He said something along the lines of, and this has stuck with me forever, I literally dream games. Like, this is a guy who I genuinely think designs a game a day. Like, I think he just does that.
Just lives in.
But but the thing I think I remember specifically is he was like, yeah, sometimes I'll have a dream about an idea for a game and I'll wake up and I'll write it down. It's like, what? What do you mean? That is insane. That is the most insane thing I have ever heard. First of all, I barely remember my dreams. I dream about games, but they're the games I'm currently playing, and it's usually just like a playthrough of them, and none of the things happening makes sense.
Glenn Jones's games, yeah.
Like, it's crazy, dude. Like,
Glenn, if you come on our podcast, we promise not to call you a psycho.
I really hope if he does hear this, he knows I mean it complimentarily.
I think,
but
that's how I read it.
It's just one of the craziest things I've ever heard. It's like, oh, dude, no wonder you have this job.
It's incredible.
Like, what? That like, how many people are doing that? Genuinely, like, it's the most insane thing I've ever heard. I'm a very normal dude, by comparison. You know what I mean? Like, that's unbelievable.
All right. Good reminder. Good storytelling. Thank you for coming on our show. Had a great time. Where can people find you?
YouTube, KMBest in a snap. Twitter, KMBestMS. I eventually keep promising these two that I will make a blue sky and getting lazy about it. And then Twitter does something else terrible. And then I'm like, I should really make a blue sky. And then I get lazy about it.
Maybe after the midterms.
Yeah, they'll do something else soon. That's just like, Jesus Christ. It's the worst website on the planet.
It's so bad. Just today, I posted something with the water gun emoji in it, and Twitter changed it to a straight up gun.
Yeah, dude. That's a good metaphor.
I kind of like that. I kind of think that's funny.
No more safe spaces, you sheltered libs. It's over. There's no more. There's
that was kind of funny, I think.
Oh, why does somebody care that much? Just put that
I love the idea of Elon just being like, we have to replace the water gun emoji with a Glock.
Exactly.
Do you remember that picture he posted of like his bedside table where it's just like a gun and a Diet Coke? It's just like, what is your deal? What is your problem? That's. He's like, this is my bedside table. It's like a gun and 3 cans of Diet Coke. It's so cool. It's like, imagine if like the sort of, you know, a story where like the syphilitic addled emperor, right? You hear about all the sort of things that this person is having done to them behind closed doors. Imagine that person had Twitter. Like, imagine if King Viserys from House of the Dragon was just like live tweeting his eye socket decaying. That's what it's like watching Elon. Like, that's kind of the vibe.